Hey, so I've just spent the last couple of days giving everything a once over again with the wire wheel, the evaporust, and it's looking pretty good. And I'm sort of at the point where I can go one of two directions with this project. One direction is just reassemble everything. You can see I've already started reassembling the fixed jaw. I've put the bell end or whatever that is on there, the nuts in there. I've started putting everything together. I could just finish that up and give it a clear coat and call it done. Clear coat will prevent it from rusting again, and it'll be a perfectly functional, good vise. But there are a couple of problems with that path. I wanted to replace the screws on this collar. The screws that just came from the store don't really aren't in keeping with the look of all of this. I have some brass stock here, so I thought I'd make some new machine screws. And I also wanted to replace this missing dust cap here. They sell replacements for this online. They're expensive, they don't quite look right. I'm not sure if they're exactly the right ones. I've seen that some people just use, I think they're called freeze plugs from engines and put them in there. It doesn't look quite right. Then I was walking around the property and found, I'd ripped down a fence a few weeks ago to make a place for the dog, a new fence for the dog. And these little zinc end caps that go on the top of those chain link fence posts, it kind of has the right curve and the right shape here. And if I could turn it down, I think it would look good. In fact, I already did this a few days ago. I made this one a little oversized so it didn't slip in nicely, and it's going to be hard to put back on the lathe now to turn it down again. So I was hoping for a press fit. I think I went a little bit too big, but easy enough. I'll make another one out of this. But that shape looks good. But when I'm replacing the screws, when I'm replacing the end cap, is it really going to be sort of the original vise? I read a lot of forum posts. People talk about what original color it should be and give people a lot of crap for not going completely original. But if I'm replacing parts already, I may as well do the entire thing. So what I want to do is I want to get these jaws out. I really tried working at those with a cold chisel, impact driver, just couldn't get them out. I think what I'm going to have to do is similar to what I did with the screws that were stuck in here, which is drill them out. I think I can get this jaw like this on my milling machine and come down and drill out the head on both sides and try lifting the jaw off, and then try removing the shaft of the screw. This is not going to fit on my milling machine. I might have to mount it like this on my drill press, or maybe I can get it on my lathe and use the lathe as like a horizontal boring machine, but I'll deal with that one when I get to it. So once I replace the jaws or take the jaws off, if I can get them off, I'd like to put copper jaws on here. And now that I've gone down that path, while the handle is shined up pretty nice in that it's free of a lot of rust, the handle is very pitted. If I cut this handle off and replace it with some shafting, I've got some 4140 around, I could make a new handle, and once this thing's out, I could stick it in the lathe and give it a skim and polish it up nicely. Likewise, these handles here, which are the things that lock it from spinning on the base, not only are they really pitted, but they're really bent. Making new ones of those would be nice. This unfortunately means it's going to be a much longer project. Unfortunately, fortunately, I don't know. Means there's more work to do, more places where I can go wrong, but I've become really comfortable with the idea that this is going to be my vise. It's going to be the way I want it to look. It's not necessarily going to look like an original 1946 Wilton bullet. It's going to look like a 1946 Wilton bullet that has been in this shop and had my hands on it and made it to be what I want, and I'm going to be okay with that. So I'm going to take you over to the mill and see if we can get the jaws, the jaw plate out of this moving jaw. Let's go over. Okay, so I've got the moving jaw sort of strapped down this way with a bar going through the hollow tube. I've eyeball centered using sort of a transfer punch on the center of these. There's not really enough depth here, and it's just really, really corroded for me to get a good center reading, so eyeball I think is the best I'm going to do. I'm going to try center drilling it and coming in with like a 3/8 drill bit and maybe an end mill to clean out after that. I'll see if we can at least get one screw out. This is the point of no return. Here we go. All right, I think I've drilled out the head of this screw on this side. I'm going to try centering over this one and do the same thing again. Hard to see, but I definitely felt a difference when I think I broke through the head. So what I need is a good woodworking chisel. Let's try a cold chisel. I've spent the last few hours really working on this. I've drilled out the screws. I don't know if you can see that, but I've drilled down 400 thou. That's got to be past the heads of the screws. Basically been drilling out, pecking out a little bit, coming over to the vise, bashing on it, pecking out a little bit more, regrinding the drill bit because it was dulling out pretty fast. And I may be getting some movement, but this thing's not coming out. I think the pin in here is rusted through, which is holding it stuck. But I have a plan. I have about 30% confidence in this plan, but it's the only plan that I have, so I'm going to go for it. And it involves this. When all you have is a hammer, you know, everything looks like a nail, right? Firstly, I'm just going to try and use the TIG torch to hit this up and see if I can break that locating pin, break the rust from it and see if that comes out. If not, I might weld. Well, the plan is to weld a bar either to that pin or to the jaw and either pull on it with like a slide hammer, or if it comes down to it, a bottle jack, and really just yank this thing out. But by hook or crook, I'm going to get this guy out. So let's try heating it up with a torch. I kept the heat pretty low. I kept it at like 35, 40 amps. I didn't want to weld the pin to the jaw. I just wanted to heat it up. Who knows, I may have welded it to the jaw. But it's pretty warm. Let's see if that's freed it up at all. I'm going to say that's a no. All right, plan B is to work out how to get in focus. Whoop. Yeah, plan B is to weld a rod onto here that I can pull with. Maybe mount a bottle jack here and see if I can get enough pulling force. Let's see what I've got around the shop that I can do that with. Seven tons is 14,000 pounds. This is 1/4 inch round. So an area is pi r squared, so r squared is 1/16 by pi. It's called 3/16 or 4/16 or a quarter, so that's a quarter inch. Is that right? Yeah, good enough, quarter inch. 70,000 psi, so 70,000 divided by a quarter. Something. The weld will break. I'm not sure how I thought this was going to work. I believe I'm an artist and my medium is stupid ideas. That didn't work. If it did work, it would have been a genius idea. But I think the pin that was in here, I'm using the past tense, was very deeply rusted and just was not going to come out using that method. So I decided to just bite the bullet and drill out that pin. I'm not sure why I was hesitating to do that. I think everything I'd read online said the pin should come out easier. It's the screws that are more difficult. But once I drilled out the pin, I was able to chip away at this and get the jaw to finally come off. That then left the shaft stubs from the screws that were in here. I tried sort of bending or rotating them out with a vice grip. That caused one of the shafts to shear off. So then I tried, do I still have it around here? Yeah, it's around here somewhere. Welding on just a socket head cap screw onto the other one and turning the socket head cap screw. Again, it would have been a genius idea if it worked, but the shaft itself just snapped, it just sheared off. The screw just was in there really tight and was not coming out. So I did the same thing that I did to the 3 screw holes here, drilled, retapped, and just gave this a bit of a cleanup. It's still pretty rusty in here, so I'm going to sit this in the evaporust, let that soak overnight, and then ponder the fact that this jaw was in the evaporust. There you go. That jaw was the easier of the two. This jaw is more rusty. There's definitely no way I'm going to get these out with a screwdriver. I've already tried with the impact driver, not coming out. I'm just going to have to go straight to drilling these guys out. Maybe this shaft, this little locating pin will be easier and I may not have to drill that one out. But I'll definitely start by drilling these two and giving it a yank and giving that a go. I can't do that on the mill. It's just not going to fit. I don't have enough Z travel on my mill. At least I don't think there's a way of doing that. No, it's not going to work. Can't do it on the lathe. I was thinking about doing it on the lathe. There's a boring machine. That's too hard to set up. I think I just have to do it on the drill press. I may not be super precise in my locating here, but yeah, I'll probably get it to work. I don't know if I'll subject you to watching all of that on video. I'll do that off camera and I'll bring you back when the jaws are done. Again, I thought I'd get a couple of things done in this video, but I think this is going to be a jaws themed video. I might wrap it up here and I'll see you in the next one. And this jaw should be off too, and we'll have some progress on making that end cap out of the fencing piece and working on the handles. I think this video is long enough, so have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya.